It's a beautiful January day, and I'm walking my dog here. And last night was really cold. Well, it's not as cold as maybe the prairies or Minnesota somewhere in the winter, but by standards of England it was fairly cold. It went down to maybe 6 below zero here, centigrade. So I'm always, well, there's my dog. I'm always interested in starting my old car. This is a man thing, I guess, because whenever I talk to women about it, they're not interested. Why is that? But I think it's always nice to see the car will start after a cold night. Got a choke here, a manual choke, so we pull it out each time and turn the ignition on, give it a bit of pump. Well, I think it'll start because as soon as some petrol gets up to that engine there. Poor old 6-volt system sounds like it's the old 6. It sounds like it's having a really hard time, but it does work. Fired then. Slight reluctance. No, not again. Oh, there we are. Put the choke in a bit. It's better. That's the choke fully in again now, so let's see what happens. These old cars had a technology which was suitable for the time, obviously. No electronics here. And the engine's cold. I've put the choke in, but to keep it running, I can pull out the hand throttle. So that's running now at higher revs. Physical type of cruise control, I guess. But that'll keep it ticking over now. Starter button. We've got our gauges here. So here we've got the fuel gauge, which is not actually accurate, but at least it's working on this car. And here we've got the amp meter, which should be working, but maybe it's not charging. I'm sure that works. Anyway, maybe it doesn't need charging. Oil pressure, which is working. You can see it starting to go up. It's always in that position there, and then you rev it up, it moves a little bit. Temperature gauge, which kind of works, but there's an auxiliary one down here. I didn't fit that actually. That was fitted in the States before I had the car, so that was fitted, I don't know, well, I've had the car over 10 years, which is working. I've had a new cable fitted a little while ago. They're easy to find, so you do get problems with the cables, obviously, if they're not lubricated right. Radio, which has been altered now. The original gubbings, tubes and everything have been taken out, the valves, or tubes as I think they call them in the States, and it's basically digital now. So it does pick up FM as well as AM. It also runs a power socket, and it will take MP3 from here. So the radio's working. A lot of these things, actually, I've forgotten myself what they were. There's a light under here that does work. It's side lights, main beam. They work, of course. And this is your lever for your vent. That's a sort of halfway position which gives you air coming in, and then you can raise it up. Actually, that sort of halfway position that it goes to is very useful because it lets some air, it seems to let some air in, but it's enough really when you've got the heater on, because the heater is just recirculating the air, and with all the windows closed, you've got no real ventilation coming in apart from all the drafts. And you can get a bit muggy, it gets a bit muggy in here and send you off to sleep. You've always got to remember when you've had this on, which have raised the revs, that if you're going to drive away you need to turn it off, push it down. Work here. Sometimes they stop. They go back to the self-park. In other words, sometimes they self-park, but not always. There you are. That worked. It's just a question of turning them off at the right place. The interior is beautiful. This was reupholstered as original in the States there again before I bought it, but it's in lovely condition, but it's basically the same as it was when it was new. It looks like the same original material was used, or something almost similar. From what I've seen, I would say this is the original type material. Yeah, that's just a beautiful looking car, and I mean the color does it justice really. It's not the original color, it's a metallic blue, and it was a color actually that's called electric blue. It was used on the Mini, the new Mini, but it just suits the car, I think. Got a sort of silvery look about it, and this car just ticking over now beautifully. No choke, just quiet. One of the things I always like in an old car is that the fact that the handles, these old type of handles which you pull down on when you see them when they're level. Because on so many old cars, usually the driver's one, of course, which is used the most, is sagging down where the springs have worn over the years, and they just look tatty. This one, all the handles are just tight and straight and just make the car look good. It looks original, it doesn't look worn or tired. That is, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, eh? So, but to me, that's just one beautiful car. Sounds lovely. What do you... So we've got the radio on. There you go, that's the radio. And now we've got the MP3 player. And we can turn that on.
It plans to pay Spain's Telefonica £9.25 billion for it. Retail sales rose in December. The Office for National Statistics says they were up 0.4% last month.
We plug it in.
November, year on year, they increased more than 4%. But Kate Davis from the ONS says some retailers' festive trading was negatively affected by Black Friday sales.
What we normally see with...
There we go. So automatically goes over to the MP3 player.
We rode on horses made of sticks.
It's not exactly what Apple would design, but quite fun really. And 1947 Dodge.
My baby shot me down.